Yesterday, Ozzy Albies smoked a double off the wall, and he kind of made fun of himself by doing push-ups, basically saying, I'm not strong enough, I gotta get back in the weight room. And whether you think Ozzy Albies is overrated or not, he's still a lot of fun to watch. What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. Bryon Buxton is clawing his way back into the MVP talks. The Padres are looking downright terrifying, and the Angels, they had a tough one against the Mets. So if this is your first time on the channel, we do this every single day, so don't be afraid to stick around. And also, if you're going to any games or concerts anytime soon, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off your entire purchase. You guys saw the title, so before we talk about this Cubs versus Yankees game, let's talk about former Yankee Clint Frazier. He kind of stirred the pot a little bit. He says that he does not miss being told what to do and being a cookie cutter version of himself. So let's see if he can get revenge against his former team. Well, that's not going to happen because the Cubs released him. They DFA'd him right before the game. He has an 87 OPS plus on the year, but a pretty respectable 356 on base percentage. So if any team picks him up, hopefully it's as a DH because his defense is still pretty stinky. Now, let's go ahead and break down that game. Get it? Breakdown because it's John Boy's team. Glaber and Jason Hayward provide all of the offense through the first 9 innings. And shout out to Luis Severino. Yeah, he gave up that tater to Jason Hayward, but he now owns a 2.8 ERA and a 10.5 strikeouts per 9. So this one heads to extras where, of course, the hero of 2022, no, not Aaron Judge, Jose Trevino. He is playing like an all-star. He walks it off. He has a 131 OPS plus and a nearly 2 WAR because of his insane defense. He might be the best framing catcher in all of baseball, but there you go. The Yankees, they walk it off. Now, before we talk about the other walk-off victory, I do have a special guest for the second ever Creator Cap. I think you guys are gonna like this one. You might recognize the voice. This is Foolish Baseball.
Fuzzy asked me to recap the Braves, who with a 4-2 win over the Pirates have now won 9 games in a row. This win came courtesy of a great start from Spencer Strider, who can throw a baseball 100 miles per hour. So yeah, the Braves haven't lost in June, and they're over 500. Last year, they didn't get over 500 until August, and then they won the World Series. Their success this year will rely on new talent like Strider, as well as the recently promoted Michael Harris, who had 2 hits in this game. William Contreras is also on fire, as is his brother with the Cubs right now. Oh, and Pirates starter Randy Contreras wasn't great versus the Braves, but man, he has nasty stuff.
Thank you again to Bailey for doing that for me. I just love getting the community involved, and his links will be in the description down below to his first channel as well as his second channel, Foolish Bailey. So again, thank you to Foolish. Okay, so before we talk about the walk-off, I actually do want to talk about the Phillies because the Phillies and the Braves, they go hand in hand right now because they own the best win streaks in all of baseball right now. So the Braves have won 9 in a row, and the Phillies are going for win number 8. Well, that's a great start because Hoskins hits a home run and Schwarber continues his hot streak. By the way, Kyle Schwarber has 48 home runs and a 143 OPS plus over his last 170 games. Didi has a huge RBI double, and it's huge because Dalton Varsho, he came to play. He drove in 3 runs, and Josh Rojas actually brought the game to within 1. But here's the big boy again. Hoskins has 38 two-baggers and 38 home runs over the last 164 games. He has been an extra base machine. Corey Knebel, he secures it for save number 11. So the Phillies are back to 500. They're 29-29. And also, I just want to note, every single team in that division is on a win streak right now. I'm just gonna say this right now, even as a Guardians fan, I feel bad for Oakland and especially Paul Blackburn because the dude is having the best start to a season he's ever had, and he turned in his best career start with 8 shutout innings, only allowing 5 base runners the entire game. And in comes Mr. Jimenez, who immediately gives up a home run to J-Ram, which happens often, so you can't really be too mad at him. J-Ram has 56 RBIs and a near 200 OPS plus. Owen Miller then ties it up on a sac fly, and speaking of sac flies, there's the walk-off. Ballsy to run on Ramon Laureano. He has one of the better arms in baseball, but we get the W. I say we because that's what fans do. Cleveland has won 3 games in a row. They're now 28-26. Now, do I expect the Guardians to rattle off for 70 more wins and win 98? No, but I love this team. They're very young and they're really exciting, and I respect their efforts. Oh, this one really sucks. This made me feel so bad for the city of Minnesota, and especially Royce Lewis, because Royce Lewis, who just debuted after recovering from ACL surgery, is going back in for ACL surgery on the exact same knee. He injured it after banging into a wall in center field. I'm hoping for the speediest of recoveries because he's one of the nicer people in baseball, and thankfully I can recap a Twins W after that awful news because Bryon Buxton is not just creeping back into the MVP talks, he is mashing his way back into them. 2 home runs runs in the first few innings, giving him 31 doubles and 36 home runs and a 170 OPS plus over the last 102 games. It was still a close ball game heading into the fifth when Minnesota said enough of that. They erupted for 6 runs. Jorge Polanco and Gary Sanchez, they both double in some, and Luis Arias caps off a big inning with an RBI single. Just a heads up, Luis Arias is hitting 360. If his defense improves, he can become one of the more underrated players in all of baseball, and regardless, I think he is. Anyways, Carlos Correa smacks a 2-run shot, his 5th. The Twins and the Rays, they were not the only team with the injury bug. I forgot to mention that Andrew Kittredge is heading to Tommy John. I hope he comes back better than ever. But the Tigers also get hit by a whirlwind of bad news, as not only did they get blown out, but also Casey Mize is going to be missing the rest of the season with Tommy John surgery. That one stings as well. I hope that he heals up quick. Bo and Kirk pepper a few RBI doubles before the long balls started flying. 3 home runs from their core. They blow it up when it's 6-0, and by the time the 7th rolls around, it was double digits, 10-0. So 6 different Jays hitters had an RBI, and Jose Barrios had no issues with one of the worst offenses in baseball. 8 innings, allowed 1 run later on in the game. Toronto is 34-23. They're 3rd in team OPS and 8th in team ERA. So basically what I predicted, they were going to rake, and their pitching was just going to be slightly behind. That's exactly what's happening. I have a question for you guys. You like Jazz? Jazz goes 407 feet, and Jesus Aguilar socks one out as well. Then they do it all over again in the 5th inning. Jazz has a 2-run shot, and so does Jesus Aguilar. Jazz now has 12 home runs, 40 RBIs, 10 stolen bases, a 142 OPS plus, and 2 defensive run saves at second base. He is insane at the game of baseball. Tanner Scott delivers for his 4th save, and that was a huge win for Miami because Houston is no joke. The Royals put the Orioles in their place for back-to-back wins, and this time it was kind of embarrassing for Baltimore fans. Benny Biceps and Salvi ripped the game open to 3-0, and they make it 4-0 on Salvi's RBI double. MJ Melendez will not stop hitting home runs. After leading the minors in home runs last year, he has 6 doubles, 6 home runs, a 140 OPS plus in his first 30 games. Michael Taylor bopped one out, and Jonathan Hazley was shredding 7 strikeouts over 7 shutout innings and allowed just 1 hit against the Orioles. One more blowout to discuss. The Padres, again, like I mentioned, they are looking scary as Joe Musgrove towed the bump versus his former teammate Chad Kuhl. Speaking of toe, they were playing tic-tac-toe on the mound. It ended up being a Cats game, so no one won. Well, aside from Joe Musgrove and the Padres. Anyways, yeah, Musgrove only needed 1 run, but he got like 9. It was 2-0 when Machado stepped in. He hit a home run. He now joins the 10 home run club. He has 7 stolen bases, a 180 OPS plus, and he leads baseball in WAR. Is he the MVP? Let me know in the comments. Jake Cronenworth doubles in 2 more for Joe, who again got plenty of run support en route to tossing. 6 shutout with 8 strikeouts. He leads baseball in ERA plus, and also shout out to Jerks and Profar. 33 RBIs and a 127 OPS plus. Good for him. DJ Peterson was basically all of Milwaukee's offense yesterday. I'm just kidding. Jace Peterson, I called him DJ for a couple of videos in a row. Jace Peterson laces a 2-run home run, and then he ties it on a sac fly in the 4th inning. But methinks that angered the Nationals because Michael Franco homered, and then the scoring kept going and going and going. Josh Bell and Keibert Ruiz make it double-digit scoring, and Nelson Cruz puts the cherry on top with his 6th. He's back up to a 112 OPS plus, so at the ripe age of 41 years old, he is looking like a legit trade piece right now. Let's talk some LA teams, even though one of them is in Anaheim. The old guys, Longoria and Crawford, make it 2-0, and Darren Ruff this pitch up for his first of 2 home runs. He helped Jake Junis with the run support, and Jake was pretty good. 2 earned runs against a really good Dodger offense. I mean, that is pretty admirable. He also struck out 5. Oh, and Darren Ruff, yeah, he took over the rest of the game. There's an RBI single, and there's the 2nd home run of the game. The guy has a 370 on base percentage since 2020. Walker Buehler unfortunately left with elbow discomfort, so let's hope that he's going to be okay. The game of baseball doesn't need any more injuries. The Angels are trying to capitalize on their first win in over 2 weeks, and yeah, the Mets were not having it, as Tomas Nido, he's been raking lately, and Canna, he is so underrated. He's hitting 300 on the year, but more on him in just a second because Brandon Nimmo came to play. He homers and then drives in another one along with Mark Canha. So Mark Canha has a 376 on base percentage since 2019. That is elite. Brandon Nimmo has a 395 on base percentage since 2019. The Mets somehow keep trucking along after suffering countless injuries. They're 1 win away from 40. The easiest game of my life to recap. The Cardinals scored 2 in the first. And no joke, that's the game. Andre Palante, raise your hand if you knew he existed before today. If you're not a Cardinals fan, no one should be raising their hands. He carved it up for nearly 6 shutout innings, and Luis Castillo takes the hard loss after the Cardinals bullpen shut it down. Ryan Helsley, he wraps it up for his 4th save, and the Cardinals snap a 3-game skid, and they take first place over the Brewers. The Brewers have lost 7 in a row. And last but not least, the Boston Red Sox versus the Mariners. Xander and JD run into a few RBI extra base hits, and I feel like that's the first home run from JD in weeks. Speaking of home runs, Jesse Winker ties it on a 2-run. Okay, I skipped to the 7th. Bobby Dahlbeck, he's having an awful start to 2022, so any sign of life is encouraging. JD had a clutch double play. Well, he drove in a run, but that RBI saves the Boston Red Sox as they win by just a single run. Tanner Houck might be the new closer going forward. He gets the save. Now, to end today's video, before we show the web gems, I want to give a shout out to the super thanks from yesterday. Spencer wanted me to call out Yasmani Grandal, so let's do that. He's hitting 175 with a paltry 52 OPS plus. He has a 280 on base percentage. He has not been Yasmani, so hopefully he can turn it around. That does it. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to go subscribe to Foolish Baseball. Watch his newest video on Corbin Burns. It is amazing, and enjoy the web gems.
And he lines one right back into the glove of Steffen.
Are you kidding me?
Nothing. Fly ball into left center. On the run is Judge, and he dives to make the play. Aaron Judge saved a couple of runs.
As Edwin Diaz goes to work, first pitch swinging. Matt Duffy is robbed by Jeff McNeil.
It's hard. It's really hard because you're usually staring through the light standards above the stadium, so you're somewhat blind trying to stare through.
High fly ball, long run for Winker towards the line. Can he get there? Sliding. Oh, yeah. The catch. Giving high fives out there.
I love it. Down left field, you can see. Oh, this one snared by Trey Turner. On to first, and Freddie makes sure of it. Oh, what a snap by Trey.
Longoria not even in the picture yet.
It's a great play there.
And now laying out is some defense from your mates tonight.
Oh, man, that's his first highlight play in right.
Beasley doesn't know who to congratulate.
Golf toward right. Ronald retreats. That ball is caught by Ronald. A step shuttle. That was a beautiful play.
He got a bad read on this. And it made up.
Yeah, damn, we done came far. The blessings soon pay off. I don't get a day off. Feel like the playoffs, they like, way I gon' take off. Dale got laid off, now we focused on trademarks. We just making hits after hits.